Want to play cartels, Dimitri? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana Yasoda Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana Yasoda Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Prayavajakacharya, Asaterasadashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Anantakota Vaishnavanda ki jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shiva Navandam ki jai, Shri Maya Parnavidam ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Go Premanandi. All glory to some devotees, all glory to some devotees, all glory to some devotees, all glory, Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. 6-17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 2, text number 17. Tais Tani Aghani Puyante Tapo Dana Pratagdibi Nadharmajam Tat Duriyam Tat Api Sangri Sevaya Taistan Yang Haripuyante tapodhana vatadibihi sadharmajam tadvidnayam tad apisang visevaya taistanyagani puyante tapodhana vatadibihi nadharmajam tadhridayam tabapisang visevaya taistanyagani puyante tapodhana vatadibihi nadharmajam tadhridayam tad apisang visevaya taistanyagani puyante tapodhana vatadibihi nadharmajam tadhridayam tadapi sangi sevaya
taistanyagani puyante tapodhana pratadhibihi nadharmajam tadhridayam sangi sevaya
taistanyagani puyante tapodhana vatadibihi nadharmajam tadhridayam tadapi sangi sevaya taistanyagani puyante
Tai, by those, Tani, all those, Aghani, sinful activities and their results, Puyante, become vanquished, Tapaha, austerity, Dhana, charity, Vitadibihi, by vows and other such activities. Na, not adharmajam, produced from irreligious actions. Tat, of that. Hridayam, the heart. Tat, that. Api, also. Isa angri, of the lotus feet of the Lord. Sevaya, by service. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. Purport. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42, Bhakti Purusana Bhava Viraktir Anyāita Cha. Devotional service is so powerful that one who performs devotional service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. All desires within this material world are sinful because material desires means sense gratification, which always involves action that is more or less sinful. Pure bhakti, however, is anyābhilāṣitā-śūnya. In other words, it is free from material desires which result from karma and jñāna. One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires, and therefore he is beyond sinful life. Material desires should be completely stopped Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, and charity may free one from sin for the time being, one's desires will reappear because his heart is impure. Thus he will act sinfully and suffer. Om Jnanatam-anandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pongam Manghayate Gurim Yat Kripataraham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Here the Vishnu Dutas are making some more important points about the power of the holy name. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana aghang nusnati karsnena niharam eva bhaskara. That only a very rare person who is engaged in devotional service can uproot the desire for material activities, just as the sun, when it rises, it dissipates the darkness and the fog and automatically. So this is the power of the holy name, the power of devotional service. Actually, devotional service is none different than Krishna. And Krishna, as we know, he's very powerful. Very powerful. So he's so powerful, he can even purify us. Yeah. That's pretty powerful. So that's Krishna. So, of course, devotional service begins with hearing. So if we hear and we hear and we hear, eventually our mind is going to become clear. No more Maya. Right? Shravanam Kirtan, we have to hear. And the best person that did this hearing perfectly was Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami. He spoke this verse, Kechit Kevalaya Bhakti, to Parikshit Maharaj, and he was the best at hearing. Sometimes it's, in Bhagavatam class we're sitting and, we're hearing for maybe 45 minutes and, we start, snoozing. So to be attentive is not easy, not easy. So he was so attentive for 7 days, just heard Sukadeva Goswami. That's pretty attentive. Didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't drink. Just one of those inconceivable things, just beyond the body. Very attentive in hearing. And therefore his mind was clear. So this is also what we want. We want to have a clear mind. Translucent, just like I remember I was in Northern California here, we were going on traveling Sankirtan. We found this river. It must have been like 10 feet deep, and it was completely transparent. It was amazing, I was thinking, well, that's what the Yamuna used to be like, maybe 100 years ago, 150 years ago, completely transparent. So this is the mind of a pure devotee, completely transparent, just completely clean, just Krishna is there. So this is the goal, to become pure. So Shravan, we have to hear, and what we hear, then we chant. Just like Prabhupada, when he wanted to get initiation, and his spiritual master heard that he wanted this, he said, yes, he likes to hear, he doesn't go away. So Prabhupada, he said, because I heard nicely, therefore I was able to speak in a way that people appreciated. So hearing is so important. This way we can also repeat, like Shravanam, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaranam. And the result of that, then we're able to remember Krishna. Smartavya saratang Vishnu, Vishmartavina jatuchit. that there's so many rules and regulations in the Vedic literatures, but the most important one is always remember Krishna. Don't forget him. So this is the goal, to always remember Krishna. And this is possible. Actually, this is the function, the pure function of the mind, is to always think of Krishna. Got to think of something. Mind is always going to think of something. Just like sometimes I'll meet people on book distribution. Yeah, I meditate. I try to clear the mind. Tell them, no, you can't do that. Not possible to clear the mind. You can clear the mind of nonsense thoughts and have pure thoughts, but the mind is always going to think of something. Even the thought, I'm going to have a clear thought, clear mind, that's also a thought. You can't get away from it. So the goal is to have pure thoughts, to have a pure mind. So we have to open our mind to Krishna, open our heart to Krishna, and close the mind from Maya. No Maya. Fill our minds so much with Krishna, fill our hearts so much with Krishna, no room for Maya. Right? Nice program. So therefore, Prabhupada has given us so much information about Krishna. We've got the holy name, we've got so many books, we've got so much opportunity to fill our minds with Krishna. Just like we've heard that the most offensive thing is to be inattentive. From inattention comes so many other offenses. But worse than that, actually, is to not chant. Is to not chant. Yeah. Because this chanting, this is the process of purification. This is how to purify the mind. The chanting fills the mind with Krishna. So if we don't chant, then this is an invitation to Maya. Just like imagine if someone has bought a house in a very crime-ridden place, like in LA, South Central LA is considered to be one of the most crime-ridden places. So imagine someone buys a house there and he puts all his furniture in there, puts his TV in there, puts the sound system in there, puts all his stuff in there, and he goes to sleep in his room and he leaves all the doors wide open. Now what are the chances of his things still being there when he wakes up? Very small. Everything will be gone when he wakes up, right? So when we don't chant, then we're allowing Maya to come and take everything away. But let's say the doors are closed, but the windows are open. He'll still come in and take. He won't take the big stuff, but he'll take some stuff. So if we have the doors closed, if we're chanting, but we're chanting inattentively, that leaves the window open for Maya to come and take out our devotion. So we have to chant, and we have to chant attentively. If we're attentive, then we become attracted to Krishna. Actually, Krishna comes to attract us to Krishna. And he's quite attractive. Therefore his name is Krishna. He's very attractive. Everything about Krishna is attractive. Just like there's some people in this world that are very, very beautiful. Beautiful women, handsome men, very attractive. But they're not the most knowledgeable. But Krishna, he's the most attractive person. And he has all knowledge. He knows everything. Vedaham samatichani vartamanani charjana bhavishyami chibutani mamtavena nikashana. He says, I know everything that's happened in the past. That's a lot. I know everything that's going to happen in the future. That's amazing. And I know everything that's happening right now. That's inconceivable. So this is God. He knows a lot. He knows a lot. And how much do we know? Very little. But then people claim to be God. No. So beauty, knowledge, wealth. Krishna is very wealthy. He owns everything. It's like there's some people in this world that are wealthy, multi-billionaires. But how much can they take with them when they leave their body? Can't take it. So is it really theirs? It's just an illusion. They think it's theirs. But Krishna, He owns everything. Always. Isāvasyamidang sarvam. Everything that exists is owned and controlled by Krishna. Therefore, we should only take which we need as our quota and not take more, knowing well to whom everything belongs. So beauty, wealth, knowledge, strength. Krishna is so strong, so powerful. He's called Satya Sankalpa. He's so powerful that whatever He wants, it just happens. Just like these planets are floating around in the universe, in many universes. And they're heavy, but they're just floating around by the power of Krishna, by the desire of Krishna. It's very powerful. I mean, I think there's a person here on this planet, they could lift, I think, over 600 pounds. One Russian guy. But what's that? That's like picking up a little needle or something. That's nothing. Krishna, He lifted Govardhan Hill. Pinky, left hand. Very powerful. So beauty, wealth, strength, knowledge, fame. Krishna is very famous. Prabhupada said, I wanted the name of Krishna to be a household name. You want everybody to hear about Krishna. This is a pure devotee. He wants everybody to hear about. He's not only interested in his own spiritual advancement. He wants everybody to hear about Krishna. So there was one devotee, Balavanta Prabhu, who was a GBC at the time. He was in his living room, and his daughter came running to him and said, Pita, Pita, Bugs Bunny is chanting Hare Krishna. He said, what? And he went in there, and Bugs Bunny, he's rowing a boat and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Balavanta couldn't believe it. When he saw that, he said, Prabhupada's desire has been fulfilled. You can't get much more household than that. You got Bugs Bunny chanting Hare Krishna. So this is the process in this age, is this chanting of Hare Krishna. This removes the darkness of material existence. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya, or actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings a nice song with the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jeev Jago, Gora Chandabali. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long are you going to sleep on the lap of the witch Maya? I have come to save you from illusion. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. I have come to give you the medicine which will dissipate the illusion of material existence Therefore, take this chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and wake up. So sense gratification is darkness, and devotional service is spiritual light. Yeah. This gives us sight so that we can see reality. Yeah. It's like it is stated, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakara, Yahan Krishna Tahanai, Maya Adhikara. That Krishna, he is compared to the sun, and Maya is compared to darkness. And wherever there is the sun of Krishna consciousness, there's no darkness of ignorance. So this age of Kali is a very, very dark age. But there's something that's very auspicious happening on this planet. And that is the book distributors are going around with books. And these books are filled with light. They're like torches in the age of Kali. And the book distributors, they're the bearers of the torches that put light in Kali Yuga. So it's very auspicious. And now we have this marathon coming up where thousands of devotees around the world, they're going to take books around to the people and try to give them some light to put some light in their lives. They're so dark. People are engaged in so much sinful activity. Gambling, intoxication, meat eating, illicit sex, so much sinful activity. So this will give them some knowledge, some light, so that they can wake up. Yeah, wake up and see reality. So this is the mercy of Krishna. Now in this purport, Prabhupada mentions one of my favorite verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti parusana bhava virakti anyābhilāṣitā ekakala papadyamana dasanastu tusti pusti Shunapano Nagasha. I was kind of tortured that time. I didn't say it so properly. But this is a very nice verse explaining how devotional service is so powerful that by engaging in devotional service, eventually we're able to engage, or eventually able to develop our love for Krishna. This is the power of devotional service. And this is the goal, to engage in devotional service. Another result is we become detached from material life. And people are so attached to so many things in this world that don't bring any joy to the soul. So much attachment in this world. Of course, you can't give up attachment. We also want to be attached. We're praying to Krishna to be attached to Him. We want to be attached to Krishna. We want to be attached to hearing about Krishna, to chanting the glories of Krishna, to engage in devotional service. We want to be attached to Krishna, completely attached to Krishna. But we want to give up our attachment to these material things. And we also get some realization of Krishna by engaging in devotional service. Especially, at least what I've found, when you go on book distribution, you get realization of the existence of Krishna, because you get the reciprocation. You feel the reciprocation. So it's very, very nice. Yeah. So this verse goes on to say, just as when we eat, we experience pleasure. It's like Kanaya is cooking up the burritos now. Today, because tomorrow's Ekadasi. So everybody likes the burrito day. You know? So he cooks very nicely and everybody appreciates. You know? Actually, we have some very good cooks here. You know, Saul is like, phew, he's like, he's a really good cook, super duper cook. Yeah? So we get pleasure, which is compared to devotional service. Devotional service is the most pleasurable thing for the soul. If one is engaged in pure devotional service, there's nothing higher than that. Yeah, than that pure devotional service. So much so that one is not interested in anything else. Just wants to serve Krishna. Just wants to please Krishna. Because there's so much pleasure there. You know, just like there's so many things that we used to do. Sinful things that we used to do. Just like we used to eat hamburgers. But now if you offer a hamburger to some devotees in this world, and even you offer them $1 million, I'll give you $1 million if you eat this hamburger. Now, some might give in. But a real devotee would say, no thanks, you keep your hamburger. Most devotees not even think twice, no thank you, it's okay. Even though it's $1 million, like, no question. Or even gambling or intoxication. They would never think of doing these things. Why? Because they made a promise. Because they made a promise to Krishna. And they won't break that promise to Krishna for anything. Yeah. So, you get the higher taste. You get the pleasure of devotional service. There's nothing greater. Nothing is more satisfying than devotional service. The things in this world, eventually they get old. They dry up, they get old. Therefore, like I used to have a job or two before I joined. And in the beginning it would be okay, but then it'd get old. Actually, my atheistic brother helped me become a devotee. Because he told me one time, he said, whatever you're doing, if you don't like it, eventually, then give it up. Because it'll be a drain on your life. So I thought, well, that's a pretty smart thing to say. And I lived like that. Now whatever I was doing, eventually if it got old, I'd just give it up. So that happened until I found the Bhagavad Gita. So I told my brother that. He was like, oh, cool. At least I did something good in my life. So, this is the highest. And Krishna says, Mata Paratrang Nanyat. There is no truth higher than what I'm giving you, Arjuna. There's no truth higher than engaging in devotional service. So you get pleasure, you become detached. Just like when we're eating, today, some of us are going to eat, and eventually we're going to be like, okay, I've had enough. Enough burritos, no more. So we become detached. And then we get nourishment. By honoring Krishna Prasadam, we get nourishment. And that's compared to getting realization of Krishna. We get realization of Krishna by engaging in devotional service, by doing all the things that are recommended in the Vedic literature. We get realization of Krishna. By so many activities, we get realization of Krishna. And especially by associating with pure devotees. By reading Prabhupada's books. Actually, when the first time I read the Bhagavad Gita, I was convinced, completely convinced Krishna's God. Because Prabhupada is it's such a powerful presentation. It's completely amazing. So this is, by association with a pure devotee, we get realization of Krishna. So by this hearing, by this chanting, by this connection with Krishna, we become Krishnized. It's like Prabhupada, many times he gave this example of an iron bar. I mean, you put it in fire, it becomes like fire. And someone might say, no, it's iron. Oh, really? Touch it. Go ahead, touch it. No, it becomes fire. So the more we're able to connect with Krishna, we become Krishnaized. We become purified. So this is the goal, to become completely absorbed in Krishna. So there's no room for Maya. And then we'll be completely satisfied, satiated, completely satisfied in this service to Krishna. Okay, so on that note, is there any question or comment or correction or reflection? Yes, we have a microphone right next to you there.
Thank you for the talk. I just have a comment. When you said about your brother telling you that phrase to, if something's not serving you, just to give it up.
Yeah.
Such a simple thing and a very common sense thing. And I just want to say, hearing you say that to me, I resonated with it a lot. And so thank you for saying that one point, because I think I needed to hear that today. So I appreciate you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, so many things in this world, they don't bring satisfaction to the soul. Actually, nothing does. Nothing material will bring satisfaction to the soul. I'll tell you an interesting thing that happened with one lady who joined our society, and her mother went to the temple and said, "My daughter, I gave you everything you ever wanted. How could you leave me and join the Hare Krishna movement?" And she said to her mother, "You gave me everything I wanted except for love. And here I get love." You can imagine she must have felt pretty bad. So, yeah, here you get love. Yeah. So many loving devotees. We get the literature that we're getting is just filled with Prabhupada just, giving his heart out. Prabhupada has so much love for Krishna, and he's given it to us in his books. So much love. Just like there's an amazing pastime of Prabhupada. I don't know if this was, maybe I heard it recently on the internet or maybe here. Anyway, it's a beautiful pastime, one of my favorite pastimes of Prabhupada, where he was expressing to Giriraj Maharaj. He was preaching to Giriraj, and he was expressing to other devotees also to go to India, and Giriraj went there, and his parents were so upset, and he went to India, and the parents were so upset, so they decided to go to India to try to bring him back, and he said, no, I want to stay. Anyway, some of you haven't heard this, some of you have, but anyway, it's a beautiful pastime. So the parents said, I would like to speak to your spiritual master, please. And so he said, okay. So he arranged a meeting. The parents were there, and his servant was there, Prabhupada's servant, Giriraj. And this disciple of yours, he's our only son. So please, can you ask him to go back to America? So Prabhupada asked him, do you want to go back to America? No, Prabhupada, I want to stay here with you. And Prabhupada said, well, you don't want me to force him, do you? No. So Prabhupada said, well, you could take him to the foothills of the Himalayas or Nepal. There's nice resorts there. You can take him there and spend a week with them. And he said, yeah, I can do that. So the parents were happy. He was happy. It turned out okay. And then when they came back to Bombay, he wanted them to get some association with Prabhupada. So they spent about an hour talking to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada didn't preach. Sometimes preaching means knowing what not to say. Knowing what to say and also what not to say. Prabhupada was just small talk, joking about differences between America and India, and small talk. When they left, they were so happy. And the servant said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you're amazing. Everybody loves you so much. They came, they were so upset, and they left so happy. And Prabhupada said, that's because I love everyone so much. So Prabhupada had an abundant amount of love. And therefore this movement grew like anything. Therefore there was a book called the Hare Krishna Explosion. So why? Why was it a Hare Krishna explosion? Youth giving up all these sinful activities. It's like inconceivable. Because of the love of Prabhupada. The love and the knowledge. Bhakti Vedanta. Had the bhakti, the love, and the knowledge. And that was enough to convince the youth to give up all their sinful activities and give their life to Krishna. So, very auspicious that Prabhupada came. So, anything else? Yes, Dravida Prabhu.
If you'll allow me just to one augmenting on that pastime, if I understand correctly, that was a time in which Giriraj's father, they were a very wealthy family,
Yeah.
and he offered $1 million, which is like 10 times what it is today, at least, to come back. And Giriraj says, no, I'm going to stay with Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
And there was something about Sandesh too. Was it saying I'm offering up Sandesh? I forget what that. But that's a famous part of that past.
But it turned out he got that money anyway because he has a really nice estate up there, and
yes, he inherited a whole lot.
he inherited it. It's worth a lot more than $1 million. So he still got it. He got Prabhupada and he got the donation.
Giriraj Swami, he's such a compassionate devotee. Maybe devotees don't know this. That with some of the money, he founded a place in Vrindavan for retired ladies in ISKCON, where they could go and retire and live and be taken care of, and go back to Godhead. Very wonderful.
Yeah, he's got a big heart. Because he let Krishna so much into his heart, he's got a big heart. And so many devotees, there's so many devotees that are doing so many, there's a lot of other places like that also around the movement where they're getting, devotees are getting old, so devotees are donating for these facilities for devotees when they get old, they're able to be taken care of. Devotee care, it's a big thing now, devotee care, because we're getting up there. There's some devotees in their 80s now. Amala Bhakta is 89 now, I think. Amala Bhakta Maharaj, yeah. Anything else? Yeah, please.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Thank you
Hi,
so much for
Krishna.
your class.
You're welcome.
So this time of year, I work in a grocery store, and it's, when I'm in the temple and I'm around devotees, I feel the best I can feel, right? It's like, I don't want to leave that, being in that association at all. As soon as I get to work, as much as I'm trying to, in my head, it is like so much greed I'm around, a lot of like alcohol, a lot of meat buying, people just like upset that we don't have things for their holiday season, right? And it's so difficult. So I'm always like asking Krishna, like, what can I do? I mean, even to the point I'm like, man, is there like a Krishna conscious, like, we need to start a grocery store that's just Krishna conscious, like, And it's interesting that you said this morning, like, I'm trying to do as much as I can in service for Krishna. So if someone asks me something, or I try to bring that up at work, as best I can, working with public, and but that actually wasn't even the question I was going to ask, and then you brought up devotee care, and it's actually something I've been really interested about. Is like, is that something that ISKCON or is coming about? Is there places like senior care or elder care for devotees that they're starting here and abroad? Do you know if that's something?
Oh,
Because that's kind of where my heart is. Like, I'd love to serve devotees in that way. I was a caregiver for years, and I really found so much enjoyment in that job. It was one of the hardest jobs I ever did, not physically, but more emotionally. And I loved it. I got so much from it. And I was like, man, maybe I want to do that. And then I've heard a lot from just different devotees that are getting older, some that have illnesses, and just being like, I want to be there. I want to do that. Is that something that's...
Yeah, right now in Vrindavan we have a place, and also they're building one in Mayapur. And there's other places. Also, there's one right here in Tucson, I believe. They made one for... also in Olatcho. Yeah, they're coming up all over the world. So that might be something that Krishna's going to engage you in. So yeah, I mean, you had a great time taking care of non-devotees. Imagine taking care of devotees. They're on their way back home, back to God. I mean, what a great experience that would be for you. I think that might be your future. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Zoom. Anything on Zoom? Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.